Do you think Samson knew that Delilah wanted to cut his hair? Of course, yes, he knew. Did he do anything about it? No, he didn't, because he knew God was going to strengthen him regardless. Let me prove that point. Samson was a Nazarite. A Nazarite is somebody chosen by God for a specific purpose. And they go with several rules, but 3 of them I will tell you. 1, they should not take alcohol. Did Samson take alcohol? Yes. He actually pigad sherehe with the Philistines, the very people he was to defend Israel from. Another thing a Nazarite was not supposed to do was touch a dead carcass. Did Samson do that? Yes. We find him killing a young lion, then coming back and getting honey out of it. And therefore, when getting the honey, you'll touch the carcass. Did God do anything about that? No. You see, there's this amazing, beautiful part about God that is called the amazing grace. It's what he told Paul, that my grace is sufficient. And it's the same grace that was with Samson. He takes alcohol, God does nothing about it. He touches a dead carcass, God does nothing about it. He's still my servant. He's still as powerful. He's still fighting the Philistines. He's still doing great things. So what do you think would make Samson ever think that even the cutting of his hair would take away what God has given freely? And that is the arrogance with so many of us, including ministers. That just because God is giving a blind eye to some of the sins that you're doing, you are still as powerful. You're still preaching powerfully. People are still getting born again. You're still getting businesses and things are still working. So what is a little sin? God can forgo that. After all, the grace of God is sufficient. But oh, unto you, Samson, even God has a limit to where you can really bother him. Such that when his hair was cut by Delilah, the Bible says he woke up as he's used to. And the Spirit of God had left him. I can't imagine the feeling of Samson when he realized the Spirit of God is not with him anymore. I'm sure he felt naked. I'm sure he felt vulnerable. When that thing that makes you special and makes you stand out among other people is no longer as powerful, is no longer with you. What am I saying? My people, please stop being comfortable in uncomfortable situations. It's only because Samson was comfortable taking alcohol, touching a dead carcass and God doing nothing about it, that gave him courage to go and tell his secret about the hair. Taking God's grace for granted. We have done that for so long. Just thinking, juu nimeenda sherehe na nikarudi, nothing bad has happened to me. You see, my parents didn't even know. And the next thing we hear, you're dead. You've been killed. What is it worth? What is it worth just risking everything you're about because of a small pleasure that you will not remember 10 years from now? And if you remember it, you will remember it with regret. What worth is it? You see, these rules that God has given us, they're not to punish us. They are to keep us safe, to protect us. They will even give you a place to sleep just to make sure that you're uncomfortable. In an uncomfortable situation, they will give you their laps for you to sleep on just to make you comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Wake up and live. Don't take God's grace for granted, because you dread that day when you're captured by your enemy because the Spirit of God has left you. May God help us.